Well, hello there, and happy Christmas Day to you. Hope you're having a good one wherever you are, maybe with some family or just enjoying some quiet time. Either way, I thought I'd share a little story with you today. One that I think kind of gets at the heart of Christmas. You know, that feeling of hope, even when it's cold outside. So picture this, a small town nestled in the hills. You know, the kind of place where the air smells like pine, and every window has those twinkly Christmas lights. But even in a place that feels like a Christmas card come to life, there's this one family who is having a tough time feeling that holiday magic. Maria is a young mom and she's struggling, trying to make ends meet. She has two little ones, Sophie and Lucas, and they have those big, bright eyes and even bigger Christmas wishes.
It's like one of those
The arc,
classic Christmas stories, isn't it? You have this perfect setting, but then this family is going through something really hard. It reminds us that even during the holidays, life can be tough. And Christmas doesn't just make those problems disappear.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and Maria's story is one that I think a lot of people can relate to. She's always wanted a better life for herself and her family. She found love, married Daniel, and they had their two kids, Sophie and Lucas. They had plans, hopes for the future. And for a while, things were pretty good. But then life threw them a curveball. Daniel lost his job at the factory, and that really hurt them financially. And then came the really tough part. Daniel got sick.
That's so hard to see a family go through so much, especially around Christmas when it's supposed to be about joy and family. It really makes you think about all those people who are struggling, even when they put up those decorations and listen to the Christmas music.
Yeah, you're right. And Maria's the one who is left to figure everything out. She picks up more shifts at the diner, trying to stay afloat. It must be incredibly difficult for her emotionally. All the heartbreak, the loneliness, the constant worry about her kids, and Christmas is getting closer and closer.
It's such a contrast, isn't it? The town's all lit up and cheerful, carols are playing in the stores, but for Maria, it probably feels like everything is dark and gray.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. And then you have her kids, these innocent kids who are so excited for Christmas. Sophie wants a doll. Lucas wants a toy truck. Such simple wishes. They have no idea what their mom is going through. And Maria, bless her heart, she puts on a brave face. She tells them that Christmas isn't about the presents. It's about being together.
She's such a strong woman. It's amazing how much a mother's love can do. That need to protect her children even when she's hurting herself. But you can tell that deep down, Maria is really feeling the pressure.
Yeah, it must be so heavy for her. So now it's Christmas Eve, and their little apartment is cold. Christmas lights from the town seem so far away. They have a small dinner, just some canned soup and some bread. It's a scene that just feels so heavy.
And then there's a knock at the door, someone unexpected, someone who's going to change everything. It's Helen, their neighbor. An older woman Maria has seen around but never really talked to. Just opening that door is a big step. It sets off a chain of events that will change their Christmas.
Yeah, and that's where our story starts to change. It starts to get a little brighter. It reminds us that hope can pop up in the most unexpected ways. But we'll save that part for the next part of our story.
You left us at the door with Helen there. What happens next?
Okay, so Maria opens the door. She's tired.
Yeah.
She's a little unsure of what to expect. And there's Helen, this sweet older lady with a kind smile. And she's holding this huge basket, just overflowing with food. Roast chicken, mashed potatoes, gravy, fresh bread, even a pie. The smell alone must have been amazing.
That's such a wonderful image. It's more than just food, It's like this symbol of warmth and caring, like a reminder that someone sees her and her struggles. I bet Maria was touched.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's one of those gestures that really means something. And Helen doesn't just leave the food at the door. She comes inside and talks to Maria for a bit. She tells her that she understands what she's going through, that she's had hard times too, that Maria's not alone.
It's so powerful to hear that from someone, to know that someone else has been there. Like Helen's giving her a little bit of hope.
Exactly. And it's amazing how Helen's kindness kind of starts this chain reaction. Later that night, Maria's getting their surprise Christmas dinner ready. And there's another knock at the door.
Oh, I bet it's another act of kindness. This town is full of surprises.
You got it. It's a delivery guy this time. And he's holding this beautiful Christmas tree, all decorated with lights and ornaments. A gift from their neighbors.
Isn't that amazing? All these small acts of generosity adding up to something so big.
It really is. And that's not all. The surprises keep coming. Mr. Thompson, the owner of the local store, he's kind of a grumpy guy, but with a good heart. He comes by with a bag full of toys for Sophie and Lucas.
It's so easy to get caught up in the presents and decorations, but this story reminds us what Christmas is really about. It's about caring for each other, helping those who are struggling.
I agree. And the kindness doesn't stop there. People from the church come by with a donation to help Maria with the rent. And then a neighbor Maria barely knows brings over some blankets and warm clothes.
Wow, it's like everyone is coming together to help them.
It really is. That night, Maria and her kids gather around their new Christmas tree. Their apartment, which was so cold and empty before. Now it feels warm and full of light. Sophie is hugging her new doll. Lucas is playing with his toy truck.
It's beautiful. Even in the darkest times, there's always hope.
And I think for Maria, this Christmas is a turning point. But we'll talk more about that in the next part of our story. It's Christmas morning now, and everything is quiet. Snow is falling outside, covering the town in this blanket of white. And inside Maria's apartment, there's this feeling of peace. All the stress from the past few weeks, the worry, it's gone.
It really feels like the spirit of Christmas worked its magic. Not in some, magical way, but in the way Maria sees things now. She's not focused on what she doesn't have anymore. She's just happy for all the love around her.
Yeah, you can really see it. Sophie is playing with the teddy bear that Mr. Thompson gave her. Lucas is driving his new truck all over the place. And Maria realizes that these aren't just toys. They're symbols of how much her community cares.
It's like her whole perspective has changed. She went from feeling like she was missing everything to being grateful for what she has. It makes you think, though, does this feeling of hope last even after the holidays are over?
That's the best part of the story. The kindness that Maria experienced. It didn't just disappear after Christmas. It stayed with her. It changed her.
So it wasn't just a one-time thing, it actually had a lasting impact on her life.
Yeah, exactly. Maria starts to see the world differently. She starts to notice other people who are struggling, like a single mom at the diner trying to handle her kids, or an older man having trouble carrying his groceries. And Maria helps them.
It's like that ripple effect we were talking about. The kindness she received is now being passed on to others.
Exactly. And that's what this story is all about. It's a reminder that we can all be that source of hope for someone else.
Especially during Christmas, but really any time of year.
So as we finish up here, I want you to think about Maria and her story and ask yourself, how can you be that person for someone else? How can you bring a little bit of light into someone's life?
It's a good question to ask ourselves. Maria's story shows us that even small acts of kindness can make a big difference.
Well said. Merry Christmas, everyone, and happy holidays. May your heart be full of hope and joy and peace. And remember, even in the darkest of times, there's always light out there somewhere.